Hello students, let us continue with the chapter Linear Inequalities. In my previous video, I had introduced you all to linear inequalities in one variable and the various rules of solving them. And we had seen that just like a linear equation in one variable, in case of an inequality also we can add or subtract the same number on either side of the inequality without changing it. Same way, we can multiply or divide both sides of the inequality by the same positive number without changing the inequality. But if we multiply or divide both sides of the inequality by the same negative number, then the sign of the inequality changes. We had also seen another first thing is this, and the another thing in the solution of linear inequalities we had seen that unlike a linear equation which has a single solution, so unlike a linear equation in one variable, we can have more than one solutions for a linear inequality in one variable. So this is something very different from the linear equation, that we know that in a linear equation, when we, in one variable, when we solve it, we get exactly one solution. But in case of an inequality, we had seen in the previous video that we can have more than one solutions. Okay, and the third thing is that these solutions also vary with the choice of type of variable x. That is, it will be if x is a natural number, an integer, or a real number, we will get different solutions for each of them. Now we had seen that in case of a natural number and an integer, we get a set of values from which we can choose the solution of a particular linear inequality. Now we have to discuss the what happens when the x is a real number. So let's start with the same example as we had taken. So let's start with 30x is less than 200. So when we solve it, we get x is less than 20 by 3. Now this 20 by 3 is approximately equal to 6.7. Now if we just have to have the solution when x is a natural number, we know that, let's draw a number line, and this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let it be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and on this side we will have -1, -2, -3, -4. When x is a natural number, we know that the values which will satisfy this expression, that is x is less than 20 by 3. 20 by 3 will lie somewhere in between 6 and 7. So all these values, and exactly these values, satisfy the expression x is less than 20 by 3, and so we conclude that x belongs to the solution set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. That is, it can take exactly any of exactly these values, nothing in between. Same way, if x is an integer, then along with these, it can also have 0, -1, -2, -3, and so on till -infinity. And so we write the solution set when x is an integer is we write 3 dots to indicate it goes on till minus infinity, minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, and all these natural numbers which are also positive integers will also be there. So this is the solution set, and as you can clearly see, these are two different sets altogether in case of an integer. Now if x is a real number, then we know that there are innumerable real numbers between any two integers. We can have we can have infinite real numbers in between minus 1 and 0, similarly between 2 and 3, similarly between 4 and 5, even between 6 and 20 by 3. We can have hundreds of real numbers. So we can't exactly pinpoint as to what will be the solution set exactly. Like the solution set will comprise of which all values. Suppose I say 6.1 is a solution to this, but then we have then 6.0001 will also be a solution. Similarly 5.01 will also be a solution. 5.555 will also be a solution. So we can't make a list of all these values which will be a solution to this. So what we do is we have to, whenever x is a real number, so when x belongs to R, then the solution is represented by an interval where we specify only the endpoints, and all the values lying in between the endpoints will be a part of the solution set. Okay, so now let's see what are the various ways of expressing the solution in case x is a real number. So when x belongs to R, the various intervals could be, the various possibilities could be, first is that x lies between A and B. That is, x can be equal to A, x can be equal to B, or x can be any number lying between A and B. And now if I see using a number line, okay, so suppose now where A and B could be any integers, okay, or any real values, okay. So if I have 1, 2, 3 and so on, and here we have till minus infinity, and this is it goes on till infinity. Okay, now what we have is, this means exactly, like for example we have x lies between 1 and 3, so it means x can take value x equal 1, x can be equal to 3, or x can be any value between 1 and 3. So we have the upper limit as 3, that maximum value which x can take is 3, minimum value which x can take is 1, and all possible real numbers lying between 1 and 3 can be taken. And so such an interval is called as closed interval. Okay, and it is denoted by square brackets. So as I had mentioned earlier in my previous video, different brackets have a different role to play in while reporting answers here. As we have seen, curly brackets are used to indicate the solution set, whereas now here if we are using square brackets, we will be meaning a closed interval. That is, so if a less than or equal to x is less than or equal to b, it implies and is implied by that x belongs to a closed interval. That is, it includes the endpoints, and it is denoted by, what we do is we write both the endpoints and we enclose them within closed brackets. Now, so same way here we can write, if x lies between 1 and 3, we can write it as x belongs to, we write 1 comma 3 and we enclose them within square brackets. Now, second case is where, when x lies between strictly lies between a and b. Here we have taken let a and b be some real numbers. Okay, now here, so that is, x is simply in this interval and x is not equal to, no matter how close x is to a, x is not equal to a and x is not equal to b. For example, if we have x lying between 1 and 3, it implies that x is not equal to 1, x is not equal to 3. Now, if you just see this, x can be very close to 1. That is, you could have 1.000, hundreds of 0 and then 1. Then you could even have, if you have this number, then you can have 1 followed by 1,000 zeros and then 1, which is much closer to 1 but still not equal to 1. Similarly, towards 3, you could have 2 point thousands of 9. That would be one value which is close to 3 but not equal to 3. Then we can find even a bigger value than that as 2 point, then we suppose we have 10,000 nines. That will be yet bigger number but still not equal to 3. And so such an interval is called as an open interval. And this is always denoted by small brackets. So whenever we are using small brackets, we will always be referring to an open interval, that is a strict inequality. That is, the endpoints are not being considered. That is, if x lies between a and b, it implies and implied by that x belongs to open interval ab. So here also what we do is we write the endpoints and separate them by commas and enclose them within small brackets. And same way, if x lies between 1 and 3, we will be writing x belongs to 1 comma 3. Now we could have the next case as, you could have a less than or equal to x less than b, or you could have another case, that is a is not included but b is included. So in this case, x is equal to a or x lies between a and b, but x is not equal to b. Whereas in this case, x is not equal to a, x lies between a and b, and x is equal to b. Such cases are called as semi-open, or they can also called as semi-closed intervals. Okay, and such intervals are denoted by one side we use a square bracket. So these are denoted by a square bracket on one side and a small bracket on the other side. For example, if you have a less than or equal to x less than b, it will be denoted by x belongs to a square bracket a comma b followed by a small bracket, and a less than x less than or equal to b will be denoted by x belongs to a comma b. Here we will have a small bracket and here we will be having a square bracket. Now There are also cases where the fourth case would be, now suppose you are given that x is less than a, simply less than a, and nothing else is given to us. Okay, so it implies that x lies between, it is less than a, and it can go on till minus infinity towards the left. So if I have here, suppose a is any point, and this could be 0 on this side or 0 on that side, it hardly matters. So -1, -2 and so on, and we have minus infinity here. So x can take all values less than a, but x is not equal to a. So what we have is x belongs to, so x lies between infinity, minus infinity and a. Now again, infinity is simply a symbol to which is used to indicate very big value towards the negative side. Okay, I mean a value of huge magnitude but with a negative sign. Okay, it doesn't have a value as such. Given any big value, you can still find a much big, given any negative value having a big magnitude, you can find another negative value which has a bigger magnitude than the previous one, and so there is no, it's an open thing which we have towards minus infinity. So we will be writing it as minus infinity a, and both are covered with a small bracket. So this is the same thing as x lies between a and minus infinity. We'll never use a slack inequality with a minus infinity, or we can never use a square bracket with a prior to minus infinity. Whereas another case could be, if x is less than or equal to a, we will have x will be equal to a, and or x is less than a, which implies that x lies between minus infinity and a. Here a would be included, but minus infinity will still not be included, and so we write x belongs to, this will always be preceded with a small bracket, and with a you can have a square bracket. Now the next case would be, if suppose x is greater than a, so, or let me take it as b. Okay, so this implies an implied by that x is not equal to b, but x lies, suppose b is somewhere here. So you have from b, and then it can take any value towards infinity, positive infinity. Now again the same argument, that infinity is a symbol. Infinity is a, this is towards infinity, and infinity is simply a symbol, it doesn't have a value. So what we'll write, that x lies between infinity and b, and both are with strict inequalities, and we can write it as x belongs to b comma infinity, and infinity will always be followed with a small bracket, whereas b may or may not be with a small bracket. Like in this case it is with a small bracket, but if x is greater than or equal to b, it will imply that x can be equal to b, or x is greater than b, which implies an implied by x lies between b and infinity, excluding this thing but including b, and this gives us x belongs to square bracket b comma infinity followed by a small bracket. So what do we write? That we have to note that infinity or minus infinity are just symbols and do not have a fixed value, and so we have to always use an open bracket, and so we always use an open bracket prior to minus infinity and after plus infinity. Okay, so with this you can report the answers very easily when x is a natural number or an integer, we will always report it as a set, whereas if it is a real number, we will report it as an interval. And you can do all questions which are related to solving a linear inequation in one variable and report the answers accordingly. Thank you.